Good morning, everybody. This is David Blair, the Crosshairs Trader. I trust that you had a wonderful weekend and will have a just as wonderful week, both in and outside of the charts. This morning, all I want to do is go over a few of the major indexes and the futures. I'm not going to look at any individual plays. I did that in my video yesterday. For the Crosshairs Trading weekly charts, I just gave a couple of crosshairs on the intraday charts, a daily chart crosshair, and I looked at some of the weekly ones we've been following for a while now. For everything else, those are reserved for the Crosshairs members. If you're interested in information on how to become a Crosshair member, simply contact me at david@thecrosshairstrader.com. Let's get into our futures and major indexes this morning. Let's start with the S&P futures. We can see here on the daily chart, we're going to look at both daily and weekly charts. We can see here on the daily chart we've had several areas of support that has formed after being resistance. We're now in an area that I think would serve us well if we could consolidate. We've had such a good move. We've had many individual stocks that have given us some opportunities up to this point, and they're also needing a time of rest. The market, I think, a healthy market is going to give you areas of consolidation in an up move. And if we are indeed breaking out of this pattern that we've been in of coming back, if we're not going to do that here, what we need to see is a consolidation and then a continuation of this move. And if that were to happen, we've got several opportunities, several stocks to trade up, but we need to be mindful on the S&P futures of an 1162 area of resistance, possible resistance, a pause, and then the 1200 range all the way at the top, which would be our high of the year. So we are possibly setting up for an end of the year rally. And you can see these areas of resistance on the weekly charts. We can see here that one area was busted last week with a close above that weekly candle. But we've got a major moving average that we watch to contend with along with our yearly high. So we could be heading up to this area, and what happens after that, who knows. But again, we could continue some consolidation as well, which would be healthy. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ futures. Nothing really any different other than the fact that the NASDAQ futures have certainly surged stronger and higher than the S&P futures, and we can see that there's only one level left on the NASDAQ futures, and that is around the 1250 area. That will be the high of the year. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do here. But we do have some areas of support. Again, I would like to see some consolidation here instead of just a quick move up here. If we do have a quick move to this resistance level, then we can watch for a pause. If it continues, again, we could possibly have that year-end rally. Okay, we'll just have to see what the demand is when we get to that point. Let's look at the S&P index. Same thing going on here. We do have some possible resistance that we're hitting right here, right now at the 1149, 1150 area. Next area is 1171 and then 1216. And you can see these on the weekly chart. We're getting ready to hit an area of possible resistance right now at 1150 on the weekly chart. Right here. Some would look at that and say this is a possible head and shoulders, but the head and shoulders have not been working too well in the past year, but is something to watch. And when I say that, I mean we had a head and shoulders supposedly back in the beginning of the year, and that did not materialize. Instead, we continued to move higher, and hence we've had our, I would say, some kind of a bull market this year after a pause in the middle of the year. NASDAQ again, very strong, came back, tested some support last week, and now could be heading up to these levels of resistance again. 24.26, 24.60, and 25.23, and you can see that on the weekly chart. Again, we can change this now to a green for support, and we can see where the NASDAQ came off a very strong price support level. It's a crosshair back here at the beginning of our year, right in the same area, and we'll see if we're going to head back up to this resistance area. The last time we hit the 24.60 area, we had a crosshair down. That was in 2008 when we had our mini crash. Okay, so it's just some areas to keep in mind. The Dow, same thing. Got an area of support that we've hit now. It's proven as such with Friday's move, and now we'll see if that can hold. Again, hopefully do some consolidation, but then we've got a major moving average up here that we've got to watch. And we can also put in another parallel here showing us the highs for the year. All of these charts are basically looking alike, but what I did want to point out to you is there's several areas of possible resistance where we could pause and worst case scenario reverse. But best case scenario would be for the bears to reverse, but we do have some resistance here. So we've got a lot of stocks, major indexes that we're watching, paying attention to, that could be in areas of consolidation, still got some resistance to bust through possibly. So we either trade lightly, not at all, if we are into some positions and the market decides it wants to continue to scream higher, then we could possibly add to those positions or take money off the table when we get to resistance areas. Again, visit me anytime you like at thecrosshairstrader.com. Would love to have you sign up to receive my free blog post via Twitter, email, or RSS feed. Contact me personally if you're interested in any of the other services that I provide. David at thecrosshairstrader.com. Have a wonderful Monday. See you here again tomorrow, Lord willing.